welcome along to the first part of my Arrow video series. This series might give you a bit of an insight into how I put my Arrow releases on the shelves, how I store them, in what order I do them. You would automatically think they would just go from A to Z, but they don't. They are quite, it's funny, it's probably my only selection apart from the 88 selections that don't really go in any order to look at, but they do go in an order in my mind, which you'll understand once I go through them. Anyway, before we get in anything to do with the Arrows section, I'm going to do a quick unboxing for you, because this little fella has just come through the post, literally, oh, it's hot, from Amazon. And I ordered it, I'm going to say a while ago, I ordered it a week ago, and they did say it was going to come within a week sort of thing. It has come a little bit earlier than I expected, but it doesn't matter at all. Now, the reason why I got this film is because I was doing, and you'll see a lot of this director in Arrow, as you would know, Lucio Fulci. I was doing a sort of season of his films. So I started off on the earliest one that I've got, which I think is Beatrice Cenci. I think that was the earliest one I've got from 88 films. And it's taken us through a few of his movies, and I got up to 1980s Zombie on 4K, which I enjoyed thoroughly. I've got a video on it describing it, which I'll link down below. And that's when I had, because I wanted to watch them in order, and I've got them all in order, most of them in order to a certain extent. But this one, you could say, is a bit of the forgotten film of Lucio Fulci. And I've been waiting for it for a long time to come out in Blu-ray, but it hasn't appeared on Blu-ray. So I've got the next best thing. I've got the best version of it on DVD. Now this has come from Amazon, and it was only $5.99 with Amazon Prime, free postage. So that's not bad at all, brand new. So it is the shameless version of Lucio's 1980 classic. It is a classic. Contraband, or as it's also known, The Smuggler, or as it's known more in my eyes, The Naples Connection, which I think is the best title for it personally. Now this one here sits between, strangely enough, it sits between Zombie or Zombie Flesh Eaters and City of the Living Dead. Now it's a strange film to have in the middle, this sort of, I'll read some out here. Now I'll have to put my spectacles on for this, my spectacles, that's, I sound like I'm 100 years old. Hard as nail stalwart Fabio Testi stars as Luca, an old school cigarette smuggler who triggers a ferocious mob war when his brother is killed and his wife kidnapped by a rival gang headed by the totally depraved sadist, exquisitely played by Marcel Bozefi, the killer out of French Connection, who are intent on replacing the fags status quo with their deadly drugs. Okay, so this is a definitive limited numbered edition. I don't know where the limited, oh yeah, it says there. Which, funny enough, I mean, this was readily available, and it used to be quite expensive in the shops. I used to see it now and again in HMV, but I haven't saw it for a while. But anyway, I thought to myself, right, I'll have to go and get this, and that's a particularly brutal part of the film, and also a pretty brutal cover as well. So this was the thing I needed to get in the space, so I can now watch this one and then progress with all the other ones that I've got on Blu-ray. So that's just a little quick unboxing for you there. I do urge you to see that film, because it's quite a good film, and it is really, really brutal as well. So anyway, so on with the Arrows. Now, this video has been asked for off a few people. Predominantly, Gary Turley has asked me, I think 2 to 3 times, to say, when are you going to show your Arrow videos? And it's been, I'm on a week off now, so it means I can progress with this video for the full week, and I want to have the whole parts out this week, hopefully. And I've got a pile here, and I'm going to see how far I go. I don't want this video to be super long. I just want it to be sort of not bite-sized, but about 20 minutes, and then I'll do the next part and the next part. So if you were to go into the room where my Blu-ray wall is, you will see the shelves, and the shelves are, this is the first thing you see on the shelves up a height. Now the reason why I put the Arrow stuff at first is because it is one of my favourite boutique labels, of course. But also some of the box sets are quite big, so they will go on the top shelf because there's no top to it. The other shelves only have spaces for Blu-rays plus a little couple of millimeters in order to get the maximum amount of shelf space on it. But if I was to do, I couldn't put them anywhere else, and I don't want to put them on the floor or anywhere in the cupboard, because these things need to be shown, because they're so, these special editions are lovely. As you know, Arrow special editions cannot be topped at all. So what you see now is like what is on the shelves. So it'll be the first one, the second one, it's going along. So I'm just pulling off whatever they are on the shelf as if you were looking at them. So imagine the shelves are there, but I don't really want to go into the room and do that, because it would take up, I think the editing would be a little bit too hard to do. So anyway, I'm going to show you some of them. I might show you some of them inside, and I'll tell you some of my reasons behind what I do with some of the versions that I've got. So the first one, after drum roll, is one of the first big, well, probably is the first big box set that I bought, and it is the exquisite Battle Royale box set. Now this is heavy, take a look at that. This is just something which, and funny enough, it is limited edition, and you get all this stuff with it. It's just really just one of these editions that Arrow are renowned for. But also as well, it's I can't tell you what my numbered limited edition is, because the fact is buried somewhere in all of this paraphernalia. But it's one of the ones that, some of these box sets sell out and they go for stupid money, hundreds of pounds even. This one just never did that. I don't know how much it was limited to, but it never seemed to go out of print, and it might even still be in print, or you can get it on eBay quite cheap. But what you're getting here is really unbelievable. You get 3 discs, you get special features, the special edition director's cut and the theatrical cut. I've watched the director's cut, and it's I remember it being beautiful. And a lot of things with these, when I'm going to pull out here, it does make me think I've got to start watching these again. I'll go back to them, because I haven't watched them for a long time, some of them, and they do need a rewatch, because these are beautiful films and I do really enjoy this. And Hunger Games, never heard of it. Okay, so that's Battle Royale limited edition box set. And what I do is, because that's the biggest box set I've got by Arrow, I know they do bigger box sets, but I haven't bothered to get them because of that huge. I haven't really got space to put them. This is, when they're on the shelves, that's the biggest one. So the next one goes to the next biggest one, and then the next biggest one after that. Then the rest of them are all the same size. So this is why this one is next, because this is the next biggest one. And it is another immense version, and it is the House Collection. Now this is the one with all the films in, plus it's got the book. And I don't know if you ever do a sniff test on something, but this is one of the best sniff tests that I've ever had with an Arrow release. The book in here is just, it's like a hardback book. It's probably one of the best things I've ever seen personally in an Arrow book. It's absolutely amazing. Now another thing I don't really do with this booklet stuff is I don't really read them. Now you might ask me why. I used to read everything. Used to be a great reader. Used to have books all over the place. But recently, since my eyes haven't been that great, I need to get some more glasses and stuff like that. So I put reading on the back burner for a little bit. I've also got another pair that I watch the TV with, because I've got to get that. I couldn't bear that not being in pristine condition. It's just the sharpness has gone a little bit. I suppose it's age, but I suppose at 35, these things happen. But anyway, so that's the amazing House box set. The 4 films in there. The first 2 films are absolutely brilliant. Love them. Not too sure. I've never watched 4, and I'm not too sure about 3, because I didn't see that. I've seen that but a long time ago. But me and my wife watched number 1 and 2. We both loved it, actually. I knew she would. Now this next one is available in a much bigger box set, and it's the Hellraiser box set. This is just the standard 1, 2 and 3. It's not the Scarlet Edition. I didn't go for the Scarlet Edition. I'll tell you why. Because, funny enough, I'm not a massive fan of Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. They're all right. I do like them, but I don't think that there's enough for me in them to personally buy the Scarlet box set. Although it is a lovely box set, I'm not going to say it's not, and anybody who wants it has got a good setup. But this for me is about as much as I want to do. I think it was only £20, and that's really good for them titles there. So for me, yes, it is kind of an essential buy. I don't know if I like any of the other ones apart from 1 and 2. I think I've seen 3 a long time ago. I remember seeing 1 and being totally blown away by it back in '87 on video. But I don't know, over the years, it's one of the ones that hasn't really not stood the test of time. And funny enough, I haven't even watched them yet. So that's another thing where when I revisit them though, I might think differently about it. That's what I like about these things. You can come back and then you can think, well, actually it was much better than I thought, or I'm not too keen on that at all. So this next one is quite a recent one, and as soon as I heard Arrow were going to do this, I didn't think it's one of the ones that I thought, oh wow, it's not one of the ones that I would associate them with, and I'm so glad they did it because they've done an amazing version of it, and that is American Werewolf in London. Now if you notice, I've kept the shrink wrap on. I sometimes try and take it off and get the shrink wrap leave on it. Now that's because back in the day, a friend of mine, he used to collect all his vinyl, and he never used to take any of the shrink wrap off it. And I remember thinking to myself, that looks really good, and it kept his stuff in really good nick. So that being said, this is what I mean. This is a very old Misfits bootleg of a gig that they did in 1981, in Christmas 1981. So this is a famous line. Now this is a strange release because the front cover has Sam Hain on it, which does feature Glenn Danzig, who is, I think he's there, you can nearly see him, who's the singer of the Misfits, and them aren't the Misfits. In the back of it, now this line here is said on this gig. If you don't know this song, yeah, so that is the Misfits there, who are currently back together again. Him, and him. Well, Jerry Oney, Glenn Danzig, and Doyle, and Gucci, who's not in them, but they've got a different drummer, Dave Lombardo from Slayer. And this one here is one of the ones I've kept in this. It's just a thing that I like the look of it. So these days, if I can get one that does that, I will do it. So, and keep it on. But if it starts to come off, then I'll just take it off. It doesn't matter. But I like the fact that it keeps. I mean, everyone who's got this will know how much of a beautiful addition this is. Now, what I try to do with is, especially on these, I mean, this cover art is amazing. I'm not saying it's not going to be, but what I try to do is I try to take the cover and swap it, so you've got easy access to sort of see both covers if you want to see both covers. And I watched this one and it was absolutely amazing, one of my favourite films. And a quick story, if I can be very quick about this because I'm aware of time, I've been flanning for a little bit. A quick story about this is the first film I ever saw that was an X, rated X at the cinema. And me and my friend went down to the local cinema. It was you could see it twice in one day, so we went for the afternoon matinee showing on a Saturday. And because we didn't think we looked very old, we went to the back lane before you went into the cinema, and we put our hands in some mud and we just rubbed it all over our mustache to create a false mustache, and must have looked like a pair of tramps when we walked in. And the lady must have known we weren't 18, because I think we were about 14 at the time, and my friend was quite short. So she said to me, right, you can get in, but I'm not too sure about you. How old are you? He says, I'm 18, I'm just a dwarf. So she let him in, but yeah, wow. So yeah, so I think it's got a lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories for us. As soon as I knew this was coming out, I had to buy it in the special edition, which is a glorious special edition as well. Again, these are all amazing special editions. The next one on the shelf is another one which had to be bought. There's no question about it getting bought, and it is Dario Argento's debut film, 1970s, The Bird with a Crystal Plumage. And it was the first time that Arrow had released this before, but they released it in a slightly wrong scope. So this is the first time it's been released in the correct scope. And this is the cover that's obviously I don't think I'll get the Italian thing of this, but that's why I do swap these over, because I like to take a look at them when I just pop them open. And it's got all your little, your booklets and everything in there, and posters, and this, when Arrow started doing this hard box thing, it's the best way to go. I don't think Arrow should ever change. I don't think they will change from this when they release the special edition, but hard box all the way. The next one is, funny enough, I was trying to meet my criteria for having these to have the biggest one first, and also I do like to have a colour next to it. So if they're all black, I would like to get all the black ones first, maybe then red, then green, or yellow, all that type of thing. But that had to be broken because I wanted to go in the director's chronological releases, and this is the second film from, or is it the third film from Dario Argento? I think it's the second one. Four Flies from Grave on Grey Velvet might be the third one. Yes, it is the third one. So this is the second one, and this is from, I don't know if it tells you here. I'm going to say, 1971. So yes. And I do know that, I'll tell you this, Il Gatto di Nero. Yeah. And that's the black, sorry, the black cat, the Cat of Nine Tails. Another great Dario Argento one, hard box, and that goes next to the Bird with the Crystal Plumage, because I'm putting this in chronological order. When I will get more than one film by a director, I'll go chronological with them. So yes, that's a Cat of Nine Tails, another great special edition. Now these two as well, yep, brand new 4K restorations. So the previous ones, which were first released by them in released in the white box with the cellophane, the window in it, the pane window it's called, they were like a lesser quality. So that I did have them, but I did sell them because these topped them. Now I will always sell the ones beneath the ones that I don't keep them. I used to, but I don't now, just purely for space. I don't really want that feathers getting on my nerves. So yes, so these two, yes, are really great picture qualities as well. They've been bumped up, so that's another reason to buy them too. If you can't get them too now, you can go for the regular releases of them, but beware that you would have to get the newer ones, not the older ones. And I think sometimes the older ones go for daft money. And this next one is 1985 Dario Argento Phenomena. Now this is a lovely box set as well, and it's got a lot of cuts of the film. It might even, this is a brand new 4K as well, and these three Dario Argento ones look really nice. And I think you might get, you get three versions of the films: 116 Italian, 110 international, and 83 minute creepers cuts. And it's packed with extras as well, and you do get a nice booklet with it. And these are just exquisite, these boxes. They are, and any collector of our stuff, if you get these ones, they are the last word in the presentation that they have with it. So, keeping in with Italian horror, the next one is Lucio Fulci's The City of the Living Dead. Now this one here does have that little J card on it there, and I've kept it, even though it's got a lovely back there. I like that. I just love the artwork on here anyway. That's the original, what I'll class is the original VHS cover. I do like these things, but I don't, if they came off, I wouldn't mind, and I don't keep them on every one. And sometimes but if they're there, I try to keep them. I don't mind if I lose, not if I lose them, but do you know what I mean? Sometimes I keep them on, and that one there will have a different cover on as well, which is the cover. No, it's like that must be a new cover, that one as well. Yeah. So this one, this is a new restoration from a 4K scan. Now I've checked this out as opposed to the other one, which I thought was the Blue Underground Blu-ray is slightly better than this, or slightly different color graded. This one's more warmer, and the Blue Underground is a little bit more washed out, for want of a bit, but it's a bit sharper, the Blue Underground one. But this is still a really good version, and it's their other version, the previous one, is definitely a lower quality. So you want to get these newer versions because they are upgraded from a 4K scan, which is another reason why these came out again, but you had to get them and get rid of the other ones. In my eyes, you did. Now this next one is another lovely addition, and it's one of my favourite films of all time, and it's 1982's The Thing. Now this was a funny one that I never thought that Arrow would release. It didn't seem like one of their films, and then it came out and I was like, well, I'll get that, even though I must have bought this film 100 times, 100 different versions. It's another one of them ones. I'm going to tell you the old story where I went to the pictures on the Monday, and I stayed for the whole week, going back every night of the week, whining on for money to get into the cinema and that. But it's just an amazing film, and it's just one of them box sets that you really have to go for. And I do urge you, if you ever want to get one of these box sets, try and get them on release, because you're going to pay a lot less money for them. Even if you think maybe it's a bit steep, maybe £30, you're paying a lot more than £30 for these when it goes down the line. And these are just, for me, it's a brand new 4K. It's just all the zenith of releases, and you'll never look back. And they're really good on the shelves as well. They're a bit of an eye turner. Now the next one is Pieces. Now this is from, I'm going to say 1977, but I don't think it has the thing on there. Maybe a little bit early with that date. So yes, this is another brand new 4K transfer. There's the boot there. There is another bigger version of this out, which I didn't go for, mainly because I wanted it to keep it in the same line of, when they're on the shelves and they're like that. It just looks so good. That's why I wanted to keep that where it was, this the smaller version, should I say. But it's still a great version. You get everything in it. It's still got like lots of limited stuff in it. It's a good film as well. I do really like this film. And it does look quite good actually on 4K. I mean, it's not, when it's 4K, it's not like pristine, but it's the best version of that film you probably ever get. And yep, so the next one is The Hills of Eyes. Now, I haven't watched this one yet, although I have watched the film, watched it years ago, and I did like it. I didn't really care for The Hills of Eyes Part 2. That's why I don't own The Hills of Eyes Part 2. I keep looking at it and I see it and I think I will, and then I won't. I don't know, I'm really on the fence with that one. I don't know if it's one that I want to add to the collection because, well, I might. I'm talking myself into it now. It's just because when I look at these things, I'd say it's the original artwork. Though that artwork's really good as well. I've had a look at it and it does look quite good, although it is quite low budget, so you will get a lot of grain on it. I don't mind grain at all, but it is a brand new 4K restoration. And I think when Arrow do this, they do, they know that it's something that a collector is going to go mad for, so they would put that out on that great version. And I don't blame them, because they are like really, they are worthy of this this treatment. If they can do a 4K scan and get all some posters and booklets and all that, then yes, I do understand why they do that. Now the next one is a one that I hummed and hawed with for quite a while before I actually took the plunge. I have seen the film a long time ago, probably saw it not on release, but I've saw it on video quite a few times, and I thought, man, I've seen it, I'm kind of done with it, I've seen it that many times, I'm not that bothered about it anymore. But I decided to get it. I took a chance, but I thought, right, fair enough, it looks nice. I don't think I paid too much for it, so I watched it, and it is yes, definitely a brand new 4K restoration from the original negative. And I thought to myself, well, I might like the film a bit more. And I tell you what, I really did enjoy the film. I got it quite a lot. And I tell you what, even though it's a horror film, one of the things not that I don't like about it, but I don't find scary, but I seem to find in a nasty sort of way when a film's cruel, and if it's cruel to the person in it. And the film I'm talking about is Carrie. Now, unfortunately for the lead character, Carrie, she has a hard time with things happening in the school. She doesn't fit in, and the popular kids in the class pick on her, but she's got this telekinesis so she can get her own back on them. And to be honest, when I watched this, I loved it. I didn't not enjoy it, but I was thinking to myself, I felt really sorry for this character here. I thought that's one of the things I remembered about it when I watched it, that it was nasty to this person. I don't know if that's something that Stephen King has a history of in his books, because you can see that in quite a few things. You can see it in the new It film and that. But anyway, this is a lovely lovely version. And this the flip cover is, I would say, the original VHS for me. I'm sure it had that cover on it, but I do really like that cover. I love the eyes on it. I think it just stand out. And I was really, it's one of them ones where you think, nah, I'm not bothered, but when you get it, you think, I'm really glad I got that one. And it's one of them ones where if someone, well, not if they offer you £1 million, I think you probably would sell it, but I don't really think there's a time coming that I really want to just, you know, downgrade to, because you can get that just a regular version for probably a couple of quid now, but I don't want to do that with these ones, because these ones mean quite a bit to me, I think. The next one is the one that quite a few people have got, The Last House on the Left. This was so hard to get back in the day. It was banned, you just couldn't get it. And to even get this one, which has got, you've got, I think, it's from the 2K, from the original film negatives. And also, I think you get maybe 3 cuts of this film. I do like this film, and this is another film that's quite cruel as well. It's quite nasty. But I like the fact, I love these characters. And this girl here is such, well, they all are horrible maggots of humanity, but she just comes across as just being vile. And David Hester, who's passed away quite recently, unfortunately, plays a really good character as Krug. Really nasty, horrible, despicable people. And the film it is nasty because it is a nasty, cruel film, but I do quite like it as well. I like the whole revenge aspect of it. I'm not going to give any plot details away, but I imagine most of you have seen it. Now the next one here is probably coming from a bit of an earlier time. Now this release here, Bloodbath, it's got a good box on it, but it's not got hasn't got the hard box element to it. And it's got packed with stuff, and it's got a brand new 2K restorations of all the, I think you've got about 3 or 4 cuts of it in here, and it's from 1966 actually. And I've watched one of the cuts and I did enjoy it, and I do want to go back and watch them all. But that's another one which it's a great cover, that. And I don't know if that cover is, I don't know if this was banned back in the day. I don't know why I've got that feeling. Maybe the cover is something that looked familiar with a video nasty, but yes, it's quite good. But it was one of them ones where I thought myself, obviously the thick books weren't out at this time, the hard boxes, but I'm glad that it went that way. But I would love these ones to have had that version done. And one of the ones, which is one of my favourite films of all time, definitely my favourite Dario Argento film. I really wish this had come with a hard box. I would have loved that, to put it a bit further up next to the other ones, but I didn't, because the box is like lesser, so I put it a bit lower down on the shelf. And that is the amazing 1975 classic Deep Red. If you haven't seen this film, where you been? You've got 2 cuts of this film, and I think it's funny because you get the original version, which is the best version. It's the shorter version. The longer version, I think, doesn't cut it with me for some reason. I just don't know why. You would think the longer version is one I always prefer, but I prefer the shorter version. This one, I think it just flows better. You do get a CD with this one as well, CD soundtrack, which is great, because the soundtrack with from this one by Goblin is just unreal. That's one of the things that really jumped out at me on first watch. And this film is such an interesting giallo that I remember me and Holgos watched it. He had watched it, and he told it, and we brought it around my house one time and watched it. And he said to us, if you see something in this film and you see it early on, you see the film in a different light. If you don't see this particular thing in this film, and you will watch this film in a different light. So you've got 2 ways you can sort of pick up on this film. And he's right. If you don't, I watched it, and I did get what he was talking about at that particular point, but my wife didn't. So she had a different viewing experience of this than I did, which was quite fascinating to watch her, because I'd not sussed things, but I'd noticed something early on, but she didn't. Honestly, that feather, it's flapping around in the wind. I keep thinking, there's a cat going to jump on this. Anyway, so yeah. So this this film here is a real joy to watch, and the visuals of it, the setup of it, the way that Dario Argento has done some of the scenes, and also the storyline to it, and the twist in it is profound. So yes, deep red, and that's one of my favourite ones in that one. And you can only get the short version in this box set. If you get the regular disc, you only get the longer version, which I find really strange. But that's another good reason to keep that one as well. Now this one here, I'm getting towards the end of them here, and I don't want to keep this too long. So this will be, when I finish this, it will be all my big box arrows, and the rest of them will start with like slip cases and regular ones and that type of thing. So this one here divides a lot of people. Necromantic. Now, I'm not going to say this film is stunning, because it's not. Is this film interesting? Yes, it is. Is this film watchable? Yes, it is. And sometimes when they come through the post and you get your little prang on there, you know, where it lands, yeah, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? But this is another one they could have done with a really hard box. Although sometimes the hard boxes can get a ding on them, but fingers crossed, not yet. And this is packed with stuff. I don't think I can really show you anything in this edition, because there's a lot of things that would sort of people would find offensive, or YouTube would find offensive. But you get the soundtrack to it, you get this massive booklet with it, and you get, I think, 2 cuts of the film, and you get a DVD in there as well, and you get loads of video nasties. Now, I remember seeing this way back in the day when it was instantly banned in Britain, and I got it from Germany. I think I got it on VHS, and I was surprised at how graphic it was and how sort of sick in a way it was. And I was just really amazed that Arrow, not that they released it, but they did this version with it, which is like, at the time it was one of the best versions you could get. And I thought, this is just mad that this is coming out. Of course, this goes for silly money now. That's another reason where, if you want to buy something like this, buy it quick, buy it cheap. I think I got it for about £25 back in the day, but it's obviously could be up to £100 now sometimes. It means that if you don't like it, keep it a bit and sell it, get your money back plus more, and you can also put that money towards some use. But try it, you might like it, you never know. I mean, I knew I would have liked this film or appreciated that film, but the reason why I got it more was because, and I didn't know they were going to release it at the time, but they did do the sequel, Necromantic 2. Now, Necromantic 2 for me is a much better film. It's really sick, it's really shocking, it's got a great ending, but it's a lot more of a accomplished movie than Necromantic. Necromantic is in black and white. This is in colour. It's still, I mean, it's still very grainy. That they haven't got like I think they're probably director approved, high definition transfer approved by director Jord Butgericht. But it doesn't mean to say that the brilliant looking films anyway. I don't think they've got a film that would be good looking. I just think they're just a grubby film. I think that's their look. Now this one here, it's a funny one because I got this one, and for some reason I remember getting 2 of them. I think I got them and I didn't realise what I was getting anyway. I got 2 of them. I only paid £16 each for them. Now I saw on eBay, especially with Necromantic, I said, you know what, these are going for like really crazy money. So I thought to myself, I saw that it was still the £16 and I didn't understand it was £16. So I bought another one. So I had 3. So what I did was I thought to myself, I'll keep 2 of them, I'll sell 2 of them, I'll sell 2 of them on, and I'll use that money to get more stuff, probably special editions. And the hassle I had to try and sell them on eBay is just ridiculous. In the end, I give up. I put them into CX. I got, I don't know, I think it was about £18 each, which is all right, but I thought to myself, why on earth did I do that? But what I did was, with that, I went back to one of the ones that wasn't open. I cut the, this wasn't my original one I bought. So one of the unopened ones, I got the best one, because some of them had a little bit of a knock on them and that. I made sure that I got the lowest limited edition number on it, because it's all limited edition numbers. And I sort of got this one to be the best version between the 3, and I got rid of the other 2. But what a hassle I had with this, put them on eBay, with other people selling them on eBay and selling them and getting rid of them. And then I used to put mine on, it used to come immediately, oh, you will be getting kicked off YouTube, eBay if you sell any more of these. And I thought, well, people are selling, but anyway, it is what it is. So note to self, excuse me, I didn't go down that route again. It was a fool's errand. So 2 left. So this one here is a really good version. I do wish this was in a more firmer presentation box. It's the Bride of Reanimator. I have got Reanimator from Second Sight, I think it is, and that's downstairs or upstairs. Excuse me. I'm not used to talking for 35 minutes in a row. And this is, excuse me, another amazing version. But unfortunately, with it being sort of like in a sort of, it's not really the box, it's just you get sort of like things like that happening, where the packaging is just a little bit fragile in a way, and it's not that I'm going to sell it, but it just looks, maybe if you're wanting to sell it, people might be put off with that. But I don't think there's many of them that exist that aren't like that, in these softer versions, you know. But that Bride of Reanimator is it's a lovely version. That it's quite a good version. The picture quality is good as well, although I don't know if it tells. I've probably got a J card in it, but I haven't got a J card with it. But yes, so I'm a fan of that film as well, but I haven't seen the other ones. And the last one I've got is this. This is one of the first ones I bought as well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the sort of premium edition of that. It's a lovely packaging. Sometimes, every now and again, you see these in HMV for about £6. This version, and you think, what? I thought they were long gone, but it's mad. It really is mad. I don't think I paid too much for it, but I've seen this rocket up in price. I do like the film, though not half as much as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I do like some of the sequels, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, the 4. I do think they're all right. I think they've got them all somewhere along the lines. So yes, so that's my sort of big box stuff from Arrow, and they all are, to me, they're not every single one that got released, but these are the ones that I've got. I've loved them, cherished them, watched them, and most of them, and be overwhelmed by how good the presentation is of these particular releases. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I know this is a long one, but I don't think the other ones will be this long. I wanted to do probably all of these in one shot. So anyway, so thank you again for the 100 subscribers. I'll leave a link down below to my thank you video for that. And I can mention another person in the shout outs I was given. There's another person just popped up, which I might give a couple of shout outs here. Probably I'm going to give a few shout outs to over the next course of my next few videos. And I'm going to give a shout out to someone who commented on me thing, and they said, so I'm going to give a shout out to Topalongo for saying congratulations on getting 100. Thanks very much for that. I do appreciate that. Ivor Bacon, right? Great name. So he's one question, John. Who is Mondo Celovic? That's a great question, Ivor. And I tell you what, I'd love to tell you that now. I'm running out of time, but I will do a separate video on what and who is Mondo Celovic. That's a great question. I've been waiting for someone to ask us that question for a long time. So thanks very much for that. And also Stephen Flanagan for commenting on that. Jimmy Boy's Movies Unwrapped. Jodie Paul again. Leon's Movie Corner. I just want to thank you for all taking the time out. Horror Hands for time out for commenting on that the video I did for the 101. Look at the state of that. Videos, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So thanks for sticking around to the end. This has been a bit of a long video for you. So get yourself a tea break, get yourself a cup of java, whatever you like, bottle of beer, all that type of nonsense. And I'm going to put these back upstairs, grab myself another stash, and I'm going to make another video. So I'll catch you on the flip-flop later.